back to Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM.
The chase moves to the Monster Mile, a car-crushing track where trouble's always lurking. Point leader Denny Hamlin has struggled in this race 3 straight years, while last time, Jimmie Johnson and Kyle Busch had a fierce duel for the win. Who will master the monster? We find out coming up next on ESPN.
Quarterback changes are the theme of Week 3. 1-1 Oakland travels to 1-1 Arizona, where new Polish rifle Bruce Gradkowski gets the start, replacing a bench Jason Campbell. It's a familiar situation for Gradkowski, who replaced Jamarcus Russell midway through 2009 before he suffered season-ending knee injury.
The Carolina Panthers select Jimmy Clausen.
Following another subpar outing by Matt Moore, the Jimmy Clausen era will begin in Carolina when the 0-2 Panthers host the 1-1 Bengals. The 48th overall pick faces a tall task as he takes over a struggling offense. 8 turnovers already, 28th in the league in scoring, and the Panthers QBs are dead last in completion percentage. Keep an eye on the weather in Carolina, by the way. Clausen in that game and company look like he'll be making his first start in some rain. 2 AFC perennials looking to keep a good thing going. Indianapolis 1-1 has handled Denver recently, Peyton Manning in particular, including twice, you remember, in the playoffs. They meet in the Mile High City where the 1-1 Broncos rolled last week. Manning might be helped by quarterback Champ Bailey. He's going to play, as Adam reported earlier, but iffy. Can Denver run it on the Colts? And without running back Knowshon Moreno, maybe newly acquired Lawrence Boney Maroney, no stranger to the Colts, can contribute. Tommy, Chris, Colts still an elite team at 1-1?
As long as they have number 18 and as long as they remember to run the football and have some balance to that offense. Defense is built to do a certain thing, and that's rush the passer. As long as they can do that, I think they're good.
Yeah, but the more players you lose, Tommy, it's hard to be elite when you can't replace. Kevin Falk, he can't be replaced. One of the best third down backs the last 10 years in the NFL. But as long as you have Tom Brady, he masks a lot of the other deficiencies you have as a team.
All right, guys, Tommy, you got to speak up in the beginning. In Foxborough, the Patriots will lick their second-half wounds at the Jets, welcome a team that they've beaten 13 straight times. AFC East rival Buffalo. True, the last few meetings have been close, but New England should be in an ornery move. The young defensive back 7 or 8, depending on what they play, were taken to task by the Jets. Can the 0-2 Bills do the same? They've changed quarterbacks already. Trent Edwards out, Ryan Fitzpatrick in, hoping to recapture the magic he enjoyed as a collegiate in nearby Harvard. Key, coach, Patriots, an elite team at 1-1?
Let me tell you, Boom, there's only one elite team in the National Football League, and that is the New Orleans Saints. They are the world champion. There are good teams, there are fair teams, there are poor teams, there are lousy teams. But there's only one elite team.
You're totally wrong. You're with that old school mentality.
That's it.
Thinking that a team wins the Super Bowl, that's what makes them elite. I think the Patriots are an elite team because they do have an elite quarterback, much like the Indianapolis Colts, much like the New Orleans Saints. They haven't been to the Super Bowl and won in quite some time, but I think they still win the division, and then you know what happens when you get into the playoffs.
They are a great team, but they are not an elite.
They too old, Boom. All this old school mentality. Nah, elite team.
Well, a question about elite the Jets are hoping to be. Braylon Edwards arrested, DWI, early hours Tuesday morning. Blood alcohol content twice the legal limit in New York. Jets have said he will dress but not start against the Dolphins tonight. Of course, not the first time Braylon Edwards been in the news other than football. August 08, pulled over for driving a $120 in a Cleveland suburb. October 09, accused of punching a man outside a Cleveland nightclub. Pleaded no contest in charge of aggravated disorderly conduct. And, of course, then Tuesday arrested, DWI in New York. Adam, what is the Jets' plan for Edwards today?
All right, Boom. Basically, Braylon Edwards admitted to police that he was drinking the night that he was arrested for DWI, but was also as known is that he was on antibiotics, which could have skewed the breathalyzer some. It doesn't excuse the poor decision he made that night, but it's uncertain how much the antibiotics influenced the breathalyzer. What is more certain at this point is that decision will cost him millions when his contract is up after the season.
No question about it. And the Jets aren't happy with him, but they're also not going to be highbrowed by other teams, including the Dolphins, for not sitting Braylon Edwards tonight. Because, look, Ronnie Brown got a DWI during the season, and he hasn't been sat down. And so Braylon Edwards won't start. You will see Braylon Edwards play a lot tonight, as you well know, Adam.
All right, guys, thank you. So now the Jets hit South Beach. Perhaps not what they need, as they get set to face AFC East rival Miami tonight in the Dolphins' home opener. Last team to play a home game. In the AFC East, by the time they play tonight, of course, it is not the Jets, it's not the Patriots leading Miami. They're 2-0. They've allowed just 20 points in road wins at Buffalo and at Minnesota. The Dolphins hope to get their offense going. That means Chad Henne passing to Brandon Marshall, and the Jets defensing without all-island DB Darrelle Revis out with a hamstring. Tommy, how will the Jets play pass defense tonight?
Boom, one of the key matchups when the Jets meet the Dolphins is the battle that's going to go on between Brandon Marshall and Antonio Cromartie. And they do have a history. Back in 2008, Brandon Marshall caught 18 passes against the Chargers. Not all against Cromartie, but this is a great example of what Brandon Marshall does. He not only has great size and speed, he has great quickness. Cromartie is not a real physical corner, and you see all of that show up right here. Great job of planting the foot. Cromartie really doesn't get contact with Brandon Marshall. Touchdown, Denver Broncos. Welcome to our EA Sports virtual playbook, and you're going to see contrasting styles here. Antonio Cromartie will be attempting to direct Brandon Marshall where he wants him to go. He shades him slightly inside here. As Brandon Marshall gets outside, Cromartie has great makeup speed, so that's what he wants to employ. Brandon Marshall is much more physical, and unlike a lot of receivers, he wants to fight his way inside to make catches. Now keep this in mind. Because Darrelle Revis missed the entire training camp, Antonio Cromartie got the chance to work on the opposing team's best wide receiver often during the preseason. Boom, that could come in handy when he faces Brandon Marshall.
No question, Tommy, and they're certainly have faced each other many times because Cromartie Charger, Marshall Bronco, they play twice a year. One of them, see, we remember the 18 for 166. The other's not bad, actually pretty darn good. Something to think about tonight when the two of them see each other again.
Weeks after Hurricane Katrina, quite simply tonight is the most significant New Orleans Saints game ever.
Well, that night will be forever remembered as the Saints reopened the Superdome after Katrina. An emotional night with an emotional big Monday night win over Atlanta. 4 years after an unbelievable play by the special teams, week 3 again, and the Saints again host the Falcons. There was so many moments to cherish from that night. But as Chris Connolly tells us, there's one person who will be forever remembered as the true Saint.
Looking at him on the waters off Louisiana, it can be hard to believe that Steve Gleason was ever a player in the NFL. Now 33, Gleason works for the Shaw Group, which is building this 1.8-mile flood wall, part of a $1 billion project from the Army Corps of Engineers to protect New Orleans.
Where we're sitting here, stationed at the south end, the south coast of Louisiana, where a lot of the destruction occurred from Hurricane Katrina. So what we're standing on here is basically capacity to stop something in excess of a 100-year storm.
It's not the first time Steve Gleason has come through in a big way for New Orleans. Because 4 years ago, in 2006, Gleason was in his 7th season as a Saint, a special teams lifer. And these hands were responsible for one of the greatest plays in the history of the team.
People always say, oh, he's got no speed, he's got no size. Like, what's the deal?
The game versus the Falcons on September 25th, 2006 was the Saints' first at the Superdome since Hurricane Katrina. One night before the game, first-year head coach Sean Payton brought his team there, not to practice, but to take it all in.
All of a sudden, it just kind of dawned on you, man, that the last 21 months, of our lives had just been completely flipped upside down, and here we were back in this place, and the message he was telling us was like, hey guys, this is your home. It's been rebuilt. This team's been rebuilt.
In their opening series on 4th down, the Falcons' punting unit prepared to kick the ball away. Gleason was lined up just to the left of the Falcons' long snapper.
We had seen that Atlanta's
pregame had a lot of confusion. As soon as they came around her, they saw that there was this is.
Against the Packers in the Windy City, and we're fired up for it. 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. We're on 90 minutes before, of course. Including, come on, man. Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues in Dover. Following us on Countdown, there it is.